about Richard's bath time?
Well, it was slow. The school, Heatherbank, gave out certificates for proficiency in swimming. Various grades, of course, and the one in question was the miles certificate. 72 lengths of the local pool. Most of the boys had finished well before lunchtime and went back to school for lunch. But Richard swam on well into the afternoon. The instructors had to stay behind to assist with the matter, and he went way into the afternoon before he'd finished. Commendable, however.
He must have been good at something.
Oh, yes, he was. He was highly intellectual and very good at literature and writing, hence the play he wrote.
And stories so far. Peter, thank you very much.
Good man, Peter.
Now, aged 13, like your father before you, you became a boarder at Giggleswick School. And Helen, it was an emotional parting.
It was dreadful for him. He had to leave a rather scrawny-looking hamster behind called Kimmy. And he made me look after it. Well, for weeks and weeks, I fed and watered this funny-looking animal, till one day I went to his hutch, and lo and behold, there was poor Kimmy, curled up in a ball, stone cold and definitely stiff. So Mother wrote to Richard and said, unfortunately, with some sad news, Kimmy's no longer with us. But we've found a nice spot for him in the garden, so all is well. Anyway, the next day, Richard got special permission by his housemaster to phone home. This frantic voice at the other end of the phone said, "Kimmy's not dead. Dig him up. He's hibernating." So we duly dug the poor hamster up, who meanwhile had been underground for 3 days, wrapped him in swaddling clothes, put him on top of the Arga. He took 2 days to come round, and he lived another 2 years.
Well, we all love a happy ending. That was sweet. Now, but that shattering experience obviously accelerated your sense of drama, and your talent as a writer develops.
And so you became a leading light of the Giggleswick Chronicle.
Your former teacher, Warwick Brooks, and his wife, this morning TV cook, Susan Brooks.
Yes. Great man.
So, Warwick, Richard made news at school.
He certainly did, yes. He was a scholar who excelled in written English, and he became editor of the school magazine, the Giggleswick Chronicle. And he was influenced by a young member of staff in the English department who was to become a television celebrity a few years later, and that was Russell Harty. And he got Richard interested in drama, in debating, and in the creation of a new, purely literary magazine, The Itch of Wit.
Yes.
Susan, you've, of course, heard a lot of stories about Richard's school days.
I have indeed, some very happy memories. Did you know that the one sport he almost took to was cricket? Not because he liked cricket, but because he could be scorer, and if you play cricket, you get a really good cream team. And from those humble beginnings, he's now turned out to be a governor of Giggleswick School, and an excellent one. Very good indeed.
And always turns up for the
Cricket
cream
teas, yes.
Thank you both very much. Thank you.
You mentioned Russell Harty. I mean, I have to say that I think probably I owe more to Russell than anybody else. He was a fantastic English teacher, and through being inspired by him, I did quite well in English and then got to university. So I'm so sad that Russell is no longer with us. I owe a lot to Russell. And as regards sports, I went the whole term, September to December. I never touched the ball once.
Well, you did get to appear on screen together, reliving your days of glory.
I wonder, Whiteley, if you bothered at all to read the title of this particular essay, which I took the liberty and pain of writing on this particular blackboard. What does it say?
It says account for Hamlet's delay, sir.
And how do you think you've answered the question?
Well, sir, there's 10 pages, sir, and I've just...
I am not discussing quantity, I'm talking about quality and the ability to actually get to the heart of a matter. Your concepts are rather hazy.
Encouraged by Russell, you win a place at Christ's College, Cambridge, to read English. There's time to fill before going to university, so you work for local solicitors, the Yorkshire Post, and a local grocer, but that job didn't go so well, did it?
I thought it went very well, actually. I drove a big Morris van. I was very proud of myself driving this big van.
It says you crashed it, yeah?
Who said that?
At Cambridge, not surprisingly, you become editor of the university magazine Varsity. One of your friends at Cambridge went on to hold the nation's purse strings, former Chancellor Norman Lamont.
No.
Hello, Richard. We've been friends for many, many years. It's a long, long time since we first met when we were both at Cambridge with Kenneth Clark and Michael Howard. There's one thing that I need to thank you for. I was always very strapped for cash as a student. And on one occasion, you very kindly lent me a £5. I felt very guilty because I didn't repay it for many, many years, well over 10 years. And it was when I just got in the House of Commons, I was walking down a corridor there, and I saw this familiar silhouette in front of me, and I shouted out, "Richard, I owe you a £5, and I gave it to you 12 years too late." And you were very kind in not being cross about the fact I hadn't paid you earlier. Richard, I wish I could be with you. You're a great chap. You deserve to be honoured in this way, and congratulations on all your achievements.
Thank you. Well, in 1965, your childhood dream of a career in TV comes true when you're taken on as a trainee by Independent Television News. Keen to impress, you race the other trainees to get your first story on screen. Your chance came with the big race, the St. Ledger.
And that is when you gave a new meaning to heavy odds.
He was with you at ITN, co-writer of the film Fierce Creatures, Ian Johnston. Ian, so Richard at the races.
Yes, he was the first of us to get a story on the news. We used to sit there for month after month writing stories that nobody broadcast. And Richard wrote the result of the St. Ledger, Only for Life or something, won at odds of 8-1. Reggie Bosanquet read it out. We went off to the pub to celebrate. And then Richard was summoned back by the news editor, who said, "Did you write that story?" And Richard said, "Yes, I did." And he said, "There have been thousands of phone calls. Where did you get these odds of 8-1? And Richard said, "I got them from the London Evening Standard. Look." And the editor looked at it and said, "The jockey's weight was 8 stone, 1 pound. Same weight as you, old boy."
Now we know why such a great scriptwriter. In 1968, you were invited to head back to your roots. You signed up with the newly formed Yorkshire Television to present the local news show Calendar. You went on to be the region's political editor, interviewing every Prime Minister since Harold Wilson. You made documentaries, you hosted telethons, and more. Here are some moments from the wonderful world of Whiteley.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full, I've travelled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way.
Anyway, to save you more embarrassment, let us talk about the moment that brought you worldwide coverage. It started as a simple interview with an animal lover.
Yeah. Ow, ow, ow! I was sorry.
Ow! It's all right, let it go. Put it on the floor, it won't hurt you.
It is hurting me.
Put it down. Now this must be the climax of the situation. If that had meant business, it would have been through to the bone. She's playing with you.
Were you rushed off to Matron after that?
Well, Matron came in the commercial break. It was a live show, and she came in the commercial break and gave me a tetanus injection, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
What happened to the ferret?
Died, sadly.
As an interviewer, you've regularly got your teeth into politicians, but one member of the Calendar news team wasn't satisfied with simply quizzing MPs. He went to be one himself, and you took over his studio seat. He's still a broadcaster, as well as MP for Great Grimsby, Austin Mitchell.
Yeah.